Okay, hello everyone. This is your favorite somatic healer here this afternoon to talk a little bit about tools for embodiment, different things that you guys can do on your own, things you can start employing right out the gate. And I also had quite a few requests for just somatic understanding in general, so we'll weave that in a little bit as we go. So our first tool really starts with this idea that you could feel the inside of your body. Right out the gate, that's the first thing I want you to think about. You can feel the inside of your body from a sensory level. We're looking at sensations. And so that means I feel heaviness in my stomach. I feel quickness. I feel a tightening. I feel light. Those are all sensory words. And when we can use our ability to sense the inside of ourselves and use those sensory words to describe it, we're using a tool that was coined by Dan Siegel, who has done a lot of work in somatics and neuroscience. It's called Name It to Tame It. And some of you might be familiar with this. For some of you, this might be new. But essentially, the idea is that by being able to name what it is you're feeling, you're able to engage with it in a different way. And so this offers you this sense of control that we're really looking for so much in our tool seeking, right? You're looking to be able to handle. You're looking to be able to have some of that power back in your own hand when you're having an experience. And so Name It to Tame It is always the number one tool that I work with when I teach folks how to do this work, but also for myself. So sensing the inside of your body, that skill is called interoception. And it's how you're able to sense internally what is happening in your system. So let's look at the example of like anxiety. So you are feeling anxious. Great, you can name that. Where are you anxious? What does your anxiety feel like? It might be different than mine. It feels buzzy. It feels like it's vibrating out of my body. It also feels like I'm being compressed at the same time. And all of those descriptive phrases are really, really helpful because that gives you a relationship with them. That relationship is what puts you back into some kind of control. And that's why this tool is so powerful, right? Again, this piece about control, sometimes that's something for us to look at, but by being able to name it, we establish a relationship with it. By having a relationship with it, we can do something about it. And I had a question on here. Let me just pop back and take a peek at it. Okay, so regarding a fawn response, comforting, people-pleasing, this is a really good one. So we can use this Name It to Tame It tool there as well. If you can catch yourself, what are some of the actions? What are some of the behaviors that tell you you're in people-pleasing mode? This can be saying yes when you feel that no. It can be maybe that like bile, nausea feeling that comes when you have resentment against somebody or with somebody. And those are some of mine that I use to track when I'm noticing my people-pleasing tendencies. And being able to name those, to tame those, starting the relationship with it, gives us the efficacy to be in the driver's seat again. So we've got this first tool, right? Name it to tame it, use your sensations. Another tool for embodiment is really expanding on that and looking at the way you are engaging with your body. What kind of relationship do the two of you have together? Are you an active mover? Are you eating healthy? Are you getting curious about what kinds of chemicals and things interact with your body? There's, a range to this conversation. And so much of what we're looking at from the somatic mental health perspective is really about what works for you. How does your body feel about what it's receiving, about the life you're living together? And that might feel like a weird question because my body doesn't talk to me. It's a thing, it's not a person. And this really leads us to our third tool, which is giving your body a voice, personifying the body, really. And it's not so much about giving your body a voice. Your body already has one. It is talking to you by using those sensations that I mentioned. And using those sensations and really our five senses, our taste, our smell, our hearing, our sight, that's the way your body is interpreting the world. And so that's the way that it's communicating back to you, is through those sensory pieces. So our second tool was to ask what kind of relationship you have with your body. And it can be overwhelming. Just being a human can feel like a lot. And I know I feel like that. And honestly, being a human is overwhelming. There's so many things you have to juggle. There's expectation, there's family relationships, there's core values, there's your work life. There's so many things. And so it's okay to feel overwhelmed by that. It's okay to feel like that's a lot. But it really does invite you to be with this tool number 2, which is, what is your body feeling about this experience? How does your body get impacted by the life that you're living? And so a tool that I use regularly, that I encourage my clients to use as well, is to actively sit down and imagine your body is almost like a separate entity across the table from you. Like if she could literally detach from me and sit next to me, what would my body want to say to me about the life we've lived together? And this can feel like a loaded question, because I know for myself, the first time I asked this, there was a lot that my body wanted to say. And so I really want to encourage you to move gently and slowly through that exercise, but that can become a quick little check-in. As you sit down, just take a moment and drop in and ask your body, how are you doing? How are you really doing? And your body will communicate using the sensations, using the tangible experiences. So the tool number 3 that I'm going to forget that I just said, there's so many. And even if I've forgotten tool number 3, there's so many, we can just keep rolling through them. So tool number 4, I guess, is going to be the consistent practice. Oh, that was tool number 3. How are you treating your body? Looking at the way that you're building this relationship with it. What are you nourishing your body with? How are you treating your body? How do you talk to your body? And really looking at that. And you can look at that on a deep, big layer, or you can do a small check-in with yourself. This can be a journal exercise, a meditation, a sit-down practice. How is your body doing right now? And what are you doing to meet it? So this practice of meeting your body, of listening, all of that can feel new and strange and like you're not sure how to navigate that. So let's maybe break that down step by step. In order to do these exercises, it's really important first to know that you're going to have to be a little patient. You got to want to hear it, and shouting and shaming them not going to create that trusting relationship that's really needed to be able to hear your body. And so the first thing is to establish, I want to go towards you. I'm here and I'm listening. And that phrase is one that I use with my clients. It's one that I use with myself when I'm doing that introspective body work. I'm here and I'm listening. Really sets the stage for, I'm not trying to fix this. I don't want to tell you how to feel. I'm just here to listen. I'm just here to observe. I'm just here to make contact and build this relationship. So this question of how do I go towards myself? How do I practice embodiment? How do I create that in my life? First, we have to establish the expectation. What is this going to be like? What are we trying to accomplish here? And then from there, once you feel like, okay, I understand, I'm going to be patient with my body. My nervous system has experienced a lot. It's okay if they don't trust me yet. Then getting curious about going inwards. And a really simple tool for this is a body scan, where you're really going through each section of your body and almost listening using that same sixth sense kind of feeling, like when you were a kid and you would play games where you had your eyes closed and you were trying to just listen and find people in the room or in the yard. It's this tuning in, listening feeling. And you all can do this. This isn't like a skill you have to be trained for, go to school for. I've never learned how to do that. You've had a gut feeling. 100% you've had a gut feeling. I don't need to know you to know that you've had that experience, because you're a human. You have also had, at some point in your life, the experience of butterflies. There's movement happening in your body. Something is going on in there. And that sensation of butterflies is what we're looking for. That's the movement. That's the interoceptive piece that you're looking for when you do this body scan, as you work towards becoming more in relationship with your internal system. So the slowness is also crucial. And I've mentioned setting the stage, knowing what kind of expectations you have, being patient with yourself, coming towards the sensations, how to start to feel into those. And for me, I think I've closed my eyes a couple times on this video, because you can tell that's a big piece for me. And sometimes I can do it with my eyes closed, but sometimes you just need to kind of quiet out the rest of the world and go this direction. And if you could see inside your chest, not to the little organs and blood and moving pieces in there, but more like metaphorically. In this moment, if you could see your chest and draw me a picture of what that looks like. Is it like a squeeze? Is it a tightness? Is it open? Does it feel like there's a metal box in there? We're all going to have a different kind of sensation in there right now, because we're all going through different things. But the noticing, the listening, the looking, all of those are observing. We're not saying that's a good thing. We haven't decided if that's bad or exciting or whatever. And really, that is what I was mentioning before about I'm here, I see you, and I'm listening, using that phrasing as your tool. I see you, I see that clench in your chest. I hear that it hurts. It feels like pressure. It makes it hard to breathe. And I'm listening. I want to understand more. I'm not saying this is how you should feel. You shouldn't feel that. It should be different. You should be grateful. You shouldn't have that feeling in your chest. Our goal is to build a relationship with our body through these embodiment practice, whether it's naming to taming, seeing, wanting to hear how your body feels, going towards it with these active interoceptive steps and listening. All of it is about the relationship, and it's so crucial that we catch ourselves, that we notice if we are pushing our internal self away, if we're othering that internal self, if we're shaming it. And I really want to invite you to remember that it's okay if those things happen. That's all right. We all do that. I do that. And that's okay. The tool, the trick, is catching that you're doing it, noticing that you're doing it. Oh, whoa. I totally just told myself that I am not allowed to feel that way. That's an interesting thing. I don't necessarily believe that here, but something believes it here. Like, I'm not allowed to feel that. My body said I'm not allowed to feel that. Even if my head says, you're human, you can feel what you need to feel. And that's where we start to get curious. And I think that is actually our most powerful tool in this work, is curiosity. What are you curious about? What do you wonder about what's happening in there? And really, it's starting to question so many things. So you're on this embodiment journey. You're naming to taming. You're recognizing that your body has an opinion, and you want to listen to what your body has to say about your life, about how that's impacted your body. You're looking at the way you're treating your body, taking some accountability, recognizing the things that you're doing that impact your body. And you're actively making the intention to go towards with this interoceptive noticing, sensing the inside of the body with a body scan, and using these phrases: I see you, I hear you, and I'm listening. And those might feel really basic and generic, and you're looking at me going like, okay, that's not going to do anything. But it is. Unfortunately, it is that simple. And it feels so complex because we've had a lifetime of being invalidated and having our feelings pushed aside and told that they weren't important. Your big emotions aren't welcome here. If you do that, it's dangerous. And so we, in turn, take those external stories and internalize them. We say, if that's how the world taught me, then that must be true. So that must be how I treat myself. And I really want you to start questioning so much of that. Is that how you want to go through the world? Is that kind? Is that compassionate? And there's also really, we can use this body scan as a bigger breakdown. So let's say you're working through relationship stuff right now. That's what you're in the midst of. You're just examining who you are in your relationships, whether that is with your partner, with your siblings, with your parents, with yourself. I want you to ask yourself, ask your body, where it learned first, how it was supposed to be in relationship. Who were the first people that taught you how to be in relationship? Was it a parental unit? Was it guardians? Was it a neighbor? Was it a family friend? Was it a teacher? Who was the first person who helped you set the stage, gaining that learning experience? Who taught me how to be here? And we can bring that to your body. Oh, I learned what romantic relationships were like from my first boyfriend, and in that experience I felt afraid. I felt like he would leave. I felt like I wasn't enough. And what are the sensations of that experience? Oh, it felt nauseous in my stomach, and I feel like I can't even feel my heartbeat because I'm just trying to suppress it in so far. And what was that like? Oh, that was awful. That was hard. Oh, it still makes me sad. I feel sad. I feel sad about it. Okay. I see that you feel sad. I see that you feel the suppression in your chest. I see that it feels nauseous in your belly. I hear that's uncomfortable. And I want to understand more. I'm listening. Tell me more. And that is your walkthrough. Those are your steps to going towards the body. And it's okay. So let's look at that from a less compassionate perspective. I learned to be in romantic relationships from my first boyfriend when I was in high school, and I never felt like enough in that relationship. And the inner critic can come in and say, why didn't you feel like enough? He was there. Were you not enough? What were you doing wrong? Why would you feel like that? You shouldn't feel like that. You should have been grateful someone gave you time. You should have been thanking him for appreciating you. You probably should actually go back and appreciate him more. Whatever the inner critic's story is, that's the moment. That's what I talk about when I'm saying catch. Notice that. That's not as kind of me to say. Now, I might have learned that. I might have learned that narrative from people in my life, whether it be my family structure or culture or peers. It's about catching it. It's about pausing and saying, that is an interesting response to something that could be about sadness, that should evoke empathy and kindness. And it's really important to recognize if you have experienced repeated trauma, repeated invalidation of your feelings, a repeated message that you don't deserve empathy or kindness, that is going to be a new skill for you to learn, and is going to be a little bit harder at first to practice. But that's the practice. That's why we do this, is because you deserve the empathy, you deserve the kindness. And so this walkthrough process, if you feel like you are ready to do that experiment, do that structural step-by-step activity, it's really important to make sure that you know how to regulate yourself. And this is another tool. So when we use that word, what we're talking about is your nervous system, which is kind of like a window. And we live our life fluctuating in our window of tolerance, because life is activating and then resting. We activate, we rest, we activate, we rest. And what happens is if something activates us outside of this window, we come outside that window of tolerance, we're in hyper arousal. And hyper arousal is where you feel panic and overwhelm. I'm not safe, I might die. It's a big feeling, it's scary, it's a lot. And I keep lifting because that's what it'll feel like, is a lift. And you can go the other direction when you're activated into hypo arousal, and that's more of like the shutdown. I don't feel anything. I'm tired. I can't even keep my eyes open. I can't really hear you. You seem far away. Hypo arousal. And our nervous systems sometimes go one direction or the other depending on what we've learned in our lives. And so if you're going to try this step-by-step experiential that I just showed you, going inwards, using those phrasings, it's really important that you have tools to help you come back into your window of tolerance. For me, a big one is breathing and trusting that if I just keep breathing, it's going to pass and I'm going to be okay. Sometimes it's the mantra of I'm here and it's okay to feel this. Sometimes it's the physical touch. I'm here. I can feel you. Just squeeze, holding my legs, laying on the ground. All of those are different tools that I use to be in relationship with myself, to help myself get back into my zone, into my window of tolerance. So as you're doing it, I'm here and it's okay to feel this. I love that one. As you're doing this practice, as you're stepping in, setting the stage, knowing that it's okay if nothing gets fixed. That's not our main goal. You want to be compassionate. We want to make the relationship so we're not here to shame, we're not here to judge, we're not here to label. And then as you go towards identifying the sensations, naming to taming, and then just using these phrases, I'm here, I see you, I'm listening. None of those phrases is about doing. It's just about observing, witnessing, listening, and validating. And that's what's so powerful, because that's what your inner child needs the most. We really don't need the fixing as much as we need the recognition. And I know that might feel counterintuitive and wrong, and it's not saying that you don't need the fixing. The fixing is powerful and important, and it's that underneath layer. It's the underneath layer of I need someone to see that this impacted me. I want someone to know that this happened, and I want that support, that it's okay for me to feel that, because it is okay. And really quick, you guys, I had a question on here. How do we get out of hypo-arousal when all the tools are so common? Oh, good question. Okay, so hyper-arousal is that activation. It's that elevated state. It's the panic, the anxiety. Hypo-arousal is I'm heavy. I want to sleep all day. I can't open my eyes. You sound far away. It feels like I'm underwater and I'm not really in relationship with the things around me. So that slowness, we want to go a little bit of the other direction. I get excited because I want to go the other direction really quickly because that place is scary for me. So doing something active and asking and pushing yourself with love to do something that's at a different tempo. And this can be moving your body, having a little dance party. This can be doing Wim Hof breath work, which is a little more fast-paced. This can be going for a run, going for a walk, riding your bike, honestly going outside and just trying to feel every part of your body, doing something that really asks you to feel, to be inside your body. The hypoarousal is like It's like the slumbering bear, like you're in that hibernation stage. And so we have to wake the bear up just enough to get him out of the cave, back out in the world. And what kinds of things wake you up? For me, something that I've started using for both my hyper arousal and hypo arousal is a very cold shower, an ice bath if you're able to do that. And this feels uncomfortable and icky, and I'm not saying you're supposed to like it. What I'm saying is when we start to take care of our body, this is that hard part. This is the hard moment of, I want the cookie, but I have to eat my dinner first. I'm not saying that this is going to bring you eternal happiness. I'm not trying to pitch this idea that by healing ourselves, we find the answers to our lives. If anything, what we find is peace and serenity with the discomfort. Being able to be with your own discomfort is really what I'm trying to help you achieve. Being able to tolerate the discomfort and not drop into the shame, blame, othering, invalidating process that you might have learned before. And so as you try these tools, naming to taming, asking your body how it's really doing today and listening, looking at the ways that you're taking care of your body, that you're treating your body, the body scan, and doing those sensory check-ins using descriptive words, hot, cold, heavy, tingly, light, tight, loose, open, buzzy. All of those descriptive words to describe what's happening in there. Going towards it and just sitting there with it. I see you, I hear you, and I'm listening. And I hope this was helpful, guys. If you have any questions, if you see something on here where you're like, whoa, that needs more explanation, I want to learn more about this, whatever it is, please feel free to send me a DM. I'm here. I want to share this. This is important, and you're worth taking care of. Thanks so much, guys.